Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is another basketball type video, and I know you're probably thinking I've just done a reaction to this channel, and this just popped up. I wasn't planning on doing a video of his, another one of his today, but this title is very interesting to me. Like, ridiculous transformations in NBA history. One of those things that, like, seeing how players have evolved over time, how they look completely different at one point, and now they look completely different at another point. I just think it could be very sort of interesting, and it's a different type of video to what I usually do. But again, if you don't enjoy this video, I apologise. But it could be fun, man. Like, seeing how certain players who I see now, who look just completely different to what they used to look like, I just think it could be one of those videos, man. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. And yeah, if you do, please leave a like and suggest more things like this that you'd like to see. I should be streaming when this video comes out. So if I am, links in the description to my Twitch. You can sort of like subscribe, follow there if you want to watch me. I'm going to be streaming the Lakers versus the Rockets game. And yeah, I'm just excited to do it. It's going to be late UK time, but I am very excited for that game because it's a big one. But yeah, also links to my second channel, etc. There's going to be videos in there that I'm posting today. But yeah, let's check this out, man. Let's see what this video's about.
Twos is one thing, but these NBA players took it to a completely different level.
Okay, we're going to see some crazy
They don't even look like the same person anymore. Despite later being known for his crazy antics and style, Rodman's draft in the second round in 1986 went as standard as they come. He was picked by the infamous Detroit bad boy Pistons, and by the looks of it, looked to be just like any other draftee. This remained true for some years as Rodman developed his game. Rodman looked back at these days as the happiest he'd ever been, so much so that he felt his overjoyed state took away from his focus in basketball. Finally, after a talk with Isaiah Thomas one day, Rodman decided to take basketball seriously. As it was, Rodman had averaged just south of 10 rebounds and 10 points a game, numbers he was content with for some time. Breaking out during the 1990 and 91 seasons, Rodman's rebounds went from 13 per game to a ridiculous 19 per game in 1991. His early success had given him 2 championships with the Pistons, before he was off to play with the San Antonio Spurs in 1993. Thus marked a low for Rodman, not necessarily statistically, but his personal life was in ruins. By this time, a painful divorce with his first wife, Annie Bakes, had caused him to go off the edge. In 1993, he was found by police passing out in his truck with a loaded gun in his lap. Something had changed in Rodman from that point forward. Afterwards, Rodman's look changed drastically. He had gone from a reluctant bad boy Piston who cared all too much about what people thought of him, to ironically the league's baddest player of them all. He began dyeing his hair different colors, getting piercings on his nose, and started to sport tattoos all over his body. A pretty wild change when considering the look of NBA players during that time. Even the most disturbed NBA players had at least appeared stable on the outside. Rodman's trademark looks began to be a spectacle for fans by the time he had joined up with Jordan on the Bulls in 1995. One day when he was driving in Chicago, Rodman heard on the radio that there had been gridlock traffic. The guy says, "There's gonna be a delay at Route 94 in Arden because there's a billboard of Dennis Rodman right on the exit and people are stopping and taking pictures of it." I'm listening to the radio and I'm saying, what? I drive down there and there's a traffic jam and people outside their cars on the freeway taking pictures of my face with green hair. I didn't even know the sign existed. I passed by it every day. Before I came to Chicago, there was a billboard of Michael and Scotty. And when I got there, it was Michael, Scotty, and Dennis. Then a few months later, it just became me. So for that 1 year, maybe 6 months, I was bigger than Jordan.
He does make big statements, but I can't lie. Something about Rodman really, I said this already, but he's just a different character, man. Like, in just sports in general, he's one of those characters that's just, he wasn't like worried about anything. He just did what he did. And yeah, some people hated him, some people loved him. I do find him intriguing.
Chris the Birdman Anderson hasn't had the fantasy NBA career most believed players tend to have, struggling to even get his foot in the league early on, and later dealing with a 2-year substance abuse ban during the middle of his career. Much of Anderson's transformation occurred not only physically, but emotionally. Dropping out of college in 1999, Anderson went to play overseas in China before spending some time in the NBA D-League. His performance eventually earned him a contract with the Denver Nuggets in 2001, becoming the first D-League player to be called up by an NBA team. Playing much of his career in Denver, Anderson's appearance began to shift as the years went on. Starting out in the 2003-2004 season, Anderson's famous tattoos became more common, as by this point his right arm designs began to be colored in. After being banned during the 2004-2005 season, Anderson returned to the Hornets 2 years later in 2007. By now, his hair had grown longer than we've seen in the past, and he was beginning to be covered in tattoos from his chest to both arms. His famous mohawk came a season later in 2008 when he signed back with the Nuggets, also with some extra tattoos to come with it. 2010 brought his famous inner bicep wing tattoos, which officially had given him the moniker of the Birdman. By 2011, the final form of the Birdman most of us know him to be was born. By now, there seemed to be not space for tattoos. Everything from his neck to his hands had been completely done. Anderson talked about getting his first tattoo, saying,
"The first one was a Chinese ganja. It was right when I got back from China. You know, me and my mother went and got our tattoos, our first tattoos together. And after that, just never stopped. I just kept going back."
Moving to Memphis, Tennessee with the company of his older brother Paul, who was 21 at the time. Mark, who had been 16, shared many of his brother's same aspirations. For starters, Mark Gasol wanted to be a professional basketball player. However, he lacked the athleticism. Granted, with a height of 6'10", even at 350 pounds, Mark was highly sought after. Often eating at his favorite McDonald's nearby his high school, Mark realized not too long after playing basketball that if he wanted to compete in the big leagues, he'd have to shed some weight. First trying a vegan diet, then a pescatarian, Mark eventually landed on a paleo diet that would cut out bread. After graduating high school, Mark decided to return to his home country of Spain to play professional ball there. While he had certainly shed a few pounds, he was still a far cry.
He doesn't look like he's built as a basketballer. He looks tall, but he still looks like he's not like defined or anything, but you've got to rate it. Like, he's still balling out of this. But I've noticed this a lot. Spain seems like a sort of a hotspot for these young players to go, and then they sort of go to the NBA once they're good enough. Like, I didn't initially realise that until like recently, sort of looking into it more, but they seem to do a lot, and then they obviously come to the NBA where they sort of prosper, or they don't like make it.
Away from reaching an ideal weight. By 2007, Mark had dropped a whopping 95 pounds.
Fair play, man.
He was selected by the Lakers as their second round 48th pick with a listed weight of just 255 pounds. He was ironically quickly dealt off in a package deal for his brother that essentially made them swap teams, placing Paul in LA, while Mark remained in his American hometown of Memphis with the Grizzlies. Coming into the NBA as a rookie, Mark led a remarkably consistent NBA career, aside from a typical weak final season before retiring. Mark talked about the journey on losing weight, saying, "There's no secret to it. I had the worst habits that you could imagine: pizza, burgers, even a little bit of sweets. A lot of people have those habits. It's just a matter of going after it and sticking to it.
And he did.
I think at the end of the day, it's sticking to it. And obviously, there's going to be easier days than others. There's days when you're like, the hell with it. But after a while, you see the results, and then you get motivated at points. Like, I want to do it a little bit more." Not even Giannis's most hardcore fans would blame you if you said you had no clue who he was when he was drafted into the NBA in 2013. Aside from being picked 15th in the first round, Giannis looked to be about half his current weight and led a fairly unremarkable rookie season. His 6'11" lanky frame weighed in at just 190 pounds on draft day, which likely played a large role in his inability to be as dominant a presence in the paint as he once was in Greece. Realizing he needed to adapt to an ever-evolving NBA league that prefaces a concentration on athleticism, Giannis took to his trainers to begin taking on some weight. The process was gradual, and such was his improvement. However, by the 2016-17 season, or his fourth in the league, he had become a completely unrecognizable player. Not only was he performing at all-star levels, he had additionally gained a whopping 51 pounds on top of his original 190-pound rookie frame. Now weighing in at 241 pounds, Giannis was no longer a pushover in the paint, averaging 23 points a game, 9 rebounds a game, along with 6 assists, and was named the league's most improved player in 2017, and rightfully so. Giannis had come from a foreign basketball league with some potential as a possible role player for the Bucks, and suddenly had completely transformed every aspect of his game. Much of the credit can be attributed to his never-quit mentality, which he has maintained his whole life. In an NBA interview, Giannis talked about his mentality when it comes to improving, saying, "It's very important for me to never stop improving, even in the off-season. When I'm not on the court playing, I'm in the gym training and building strength. There is no time off. Eating well and exercising right is very important to me."
That's why I love him, man. You see like his difference, and he's one of the most physical, like, sort of specimens in the league now. He's so strong, he's so built. A few years back, you'd have looked at him and you'd have probably thought this guy's never gonna make it. So I mean, and especially for tall people, like there's a lot. One of my mates is pretty tall, and he's very skinny, and he struggles putting on weight. I assume that's the case for a lot of taller people. Obviously, not for every tall person, but it looked similar with him. Like he wasn't like he was skinny, but he was also built, so you could see he had something to build on. But he still did it. And man, he's now he's known as the Freak because of how he's built and just his athletic ability. But you got to rate him, man. His dedication towards the sport is top notch.
In terms of his workout strategy, it rivals that of a bodybuilder. Giannis hits the gym for
Look
all
at him,
days
bro.
of the week but one. During those days, he's devoting a minimum of 2 split hours a day on either improving his upper body or lower body. It clearly comes with some advantages. His larger frame has awarded him the luxury of plowing through defenses in the paint like paper. Even more impressive is how his points are won. Shooting just 12.5% beyond the arc, Giannis has led the NBA in paint scoring for 2 years straight. His
Wow.
most recent average in paint points occurred just this season when he was scoring 17 points a game in the paint alone. Also coming into the league in the 2013 draft, Steven Adams came in the league
Look at him.
as the Thunder's 12th pick just before Giannis. As a
He's so
20-year-old
different.
babyface giant, Adams performed pretty poorly his rookie season. Even working with limited minutes, Adams was only averaging 3 points a game. Much of his
So
game
different.
suffered for many of the same reasons Giannis's game did. They were both big men lacking size and strength to make a big impact in either paint defense or offense. Adams arrived at the same conclusion as Giannis and began prefacing his overall fitness. However, Adams took a more unconventional approach to working out. While Adams certainly had a trainer alongside him to help reach his fitness goals, he additionally exploited the knowledge of science. Adams became an outspoken
Looks so different now. He looks so different now.
supporter of saunas and their impact on not only his stress levels post-workout, but its apparent ability to boost testosterone. This, coupled with his intense leg workout routine, is what helped him put on some extra pounds. During his transformation, Adams began growing his hair and beard out, which with his extra muscle had given him the nickname of Aquaman. Whether it was his beard or muscle mass that improved his game remains uncertain. But what's clear is that during his 5th season in the league, Adams began seeing the results. Averaging 14 points a game along with 9 rebounds a game, Adams had finally become the powerhouse he aimed to be. On top of being a dominant big man, Adams spoke about working on the forgotten art of low post defense, which is used on his opponents for easy buckets. One of the reasons I found a little bit of success down low is no one plays low post defense anymore. It's so much easier in the post. It's so tough to score against Marcin Gortat, Nene Hilario, the older guys. They played it so many times over and over again. They have their own little tricks, they know the balance, they know what to force you to. Back in the day, you take one dribble, I couldn't even back down point guard Derek Fisher. You know, it was just that old school, like, boom, you ain't moving type of thing.
Oh.
If you've enjoyed this video,
Bro, I love how much
sure
he's
you
changed.
enjoyed the
He
next
looks so different. He looks so different. But man, I mean, it goes to show he's like physically he's changed, and also his actual appearance has changed. But I feel like that could go towards him being sort of seen as like a meaner character, like having the beard, the longer hair, rather than the short hair and like no beard. He's probably helps to his sort of like his nickname. He's now seen as Aquaman, or his nickname's Aquaman. I mean, it's obviously doing bits in certain in areas, but he's also a quality player. I did react to him in my Lakers video, Lakers versus the Thunder earlier, and he was balling out, man. He intrigues me. Adams is by far the most intimidating and nicest person ever. Is he seen as like a nice person? Like, is he seen as a friendly giant kind of sort of character? Like, he's mean on the court, but off the court, he's one of those sort of calm characters, basically. Mark Gasol is still in the league. Wait, so they just got that wrong, didn't they? They just said he retired, for God's sake. Steve Adams is a brick wall. It's kind of sounded like he was trying to mimic players' accents. Did he just say Mark was retiring? Yeah, he got that wrong, didn't he? Mark Gasol. I did think he was still playing. That sort of confused me, but I did also think there's other players, like his brothers, maybe they were retired or something like that. But yeah, got that wrong. But still, good video. I do enjoy this sort of stuff. And yeah, the most ridiculous transformations in NBA history. Would you agree with this? What sort of things? Who is your player who you think's changed the most in the last few years? Like their physical ability, or their physical sort of look, or their actual look, like facially kind of thing. Because I mean, there's a lot of different players. Like the Rodman change was crazy as well, but he's an interesting character too. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. And yeah, until next time, like, subscribe, peace.